Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Sealed for Good. I'm your host Shandy, and today we'll be sharing an additional 5 tips to ensure that you have a successful application. We hope you find these ones interesting. So first of all, thanks to our contracting friends that sent some of these through. I suppose we could start with looking after your materials. And what that means is if you have a 15-litre pail of primer or membrane and you're not going to use all the material in that one application, decant it. What this does is it ensures that whatever's left over in the bigger packaging size is going to be fresh, it's not going to have any contaminants, you're not going to pick up anything off the surfaces that you're applying the product in and then reintroducing it to that bigger pail of product. So it is a good way to make sure that you are going to get the expected shelf life out of the product, and in the long run it could save you some money as well. So the next one is really critical. As a waterproofing contractor, you guys really are the experts and the specialists in the installation of those products, and I'm sure it's not news to you guys, but it's all about attention to detail, right? We're working with a layer of material that's between 1 and 1.2 millimeters if you include the primer layer, and it is very crucial to make sure that we're again looking at the surfaces, preparing things right, paying attention and care to the installation process and all your detailing, like the B50 tape and your sealants, all that's neat and tight to make sure that once you finish the job, you can stand back and say, I'm confident with this application. While we're on the topic of the B50, the other tip with that particular product is less is more. With a lot of the time with the installation of the B50 tape, what we see is over application of the liquid membrane underneath the tape, and what that's going to do is prolong the curing time of the membrane underneath. So you don't need a very thick layer. Remember, we're using the membrane as an adhesive, and a good tip there is you can either use a plastic scraper to push out any excess, and as your experience grows with the product and how much is the right amount, slowly you can then just use the brush, make sure you put enough pressure to push out any little bit of excess that you might still have. So another tip is protect your work. So below ground, we often see photos and there's correspondence where there's been damage from the backfilling or the filling of those type of applications where no protection board was installed. In many cases, what we find is the waterproofing contractor, it just simply wasn't part of their job. The builder was getting the labourer to come in and protect it, and it just didn't happen, or it wasn't effective enough. So again, we covered it in the last episode. Take plenty of photos. If it's wet areas, balconies, and you do want to stop other trades from coming in, contaminating during your priming stage, damaging during your first, second coats while it's curing, then a bit of tape with one of these tickets, and it will help indicate to the following trades when it is serviceable or when you can enter that space to do the next stages or to continue some other works that are required. And last one, which sort of relates to other ones that we've covered in the past, is all about compatibility. So making sure that you are applying a compatible system, and this goes beyond the surfaces that you're installing the product on. It's also about giving thought to what's happening post waterproofing application. So a lot of the time, or all the time, we're recommending the use of a full system. If we don't have a Gripset branded solution, then we can always look to our RLA products that are completely compatible and fall under the same warranty. So if you have an installation, if you need a complete system, reach out. We can provide you with all the specification and warranties that you require. And until next time, happy waterproofing.
Congratulations to LF Waterproofing, Gripset's applicator spotlight, exceptional work with the BRW PFN. That's some textbook detailing on that puddle flange on a very neat project. Well done, guys.